Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump found a White House leaker, and it's really interesting. We'll talk about the story, and we'll talk about the psychology behind this. Whether it's James Comey or Andrew McCabe, who will get indicted, just relax, please. My God, there are people who are like, you promised indictment. Oh, I'm sorry. I had the audacity to say that people are going to get indicted, whether it's Clinton. Well, Clinton. Comey will eventually get indicted, so will Clinton. But if people commit crimes, it's a natural reaction or a sober analysis to say that they will get indicted. To assume they wouldn't because they're omnipotent and all-powerful and they're untouchable Democrats, sorry, I'm not going to have that defeatist, pathetic mentality. Nothing's ever going to happen. Yeah, well, guess what? Happened to Nixon, Al Capone. We can go down the list. Julius Caesar, you can go down the list of people who were virtually omnipotent. All-powerful. They eventually got theirs. And people say, it's never gonna happen.
Okay, Dickman, you're giving you false hope.
It's like, oh my God, get over yourself. Relax. Everything's okay. President Trump is president. So we're ahead of the ball, we're ahead of the curve on that situation. If these people were so omnipotent, they would have had the White House after cheating Bernie Sanders. Clinton's going to run again. Andrew McCabe's going to get indicted. Comey will eventually get indicted. I write in the Federalist about the 18 U.S. Code 371 statute. So just relax. It'll never happen. This will never happen. We live in a state of corruption. Well, yeah, we do, to an extent. But then again, people, they always bite off more than they can chew. But anyway, Trump admin finds a leaker to the media, and she was very close to the president. Now, the same people are going to be, who are like, hey, why isn't this happening? Are the same people who are going to be like, that's it, McCabe got indicted, it's on, we're off to the races. You watch the excitement and the belief that, the inevitable will take place when Andrew McCabe gets indicted. These people fall back on obstruction. I'm talking about Democrats now. Democrats fall back on obstruction of justice and possible collusion, even though none of these things occurred. None of these things occurred. They're like, well, what about obstruction? William Barr. It's like, dude, nothing happened. They didn't indict President Trump, and they would have impeached him or indicted him on obstruction. You can't obstruct when there was no evidence that he committed a crime to begin with. The special counsel was fabricated by Comey's memos, which were an extension of another fabrication in the Steele dossier purchased by Clinton. But anyway, Trump admin finds a leaker to the media, and she was very close to the president. Another leaker caught. So let's read this. It's just, look, people get caught up in LMNOP. Oh, this message board says. Then, of course, the message board gets shut down. Then they get upset that it's like, it's not happening. It's like, oh my God. Yeah, the corruption is there. It'll eventually happen. Something good will eventually happen. There will be eventually justice, because in this scenario, it's an existential issue to the country. Rome wasn't built in a day. So, anyway, there's just a couple, disgruntled, Anyway, it doesn't matter. A personal assistant to President Trump reportedly resigned abruptly on Thursday for divulging information to the media. The New York Times reported that Madeleine Westerhout, director of Oval Office operations, met with reporters in New Jersey for an off-the-record dinner while the president was on vacation. Westerhout reportedly shared information with the reporters about the Trump family and other affairs in the White House. The Times said that the administration has labeled Westerhout a separated employee and will not allow her back into the White House. So she leaked the information. Westerhout was born in California and worked previously as an intern on the 2012 presidential campaign for Mitt Romney. Well, that's the first problem. Some questioned her loyalty to the president after a recent book about the White House reported that she cried in anguish in 2016 when the election results rolled in. Oh my God. In 2016, she worked as a greeter girl for visitors to the Trump Tower during the transition period after the election. Westerhout had served the president as his personal assistant since the first day of his presidency. So there's probably a little bit of truth to this. She probably didn't cry. There's probably court intrigue here. Maybe she started off very loyal. Maybe she started off as trustworthy. And then what takes place is people change. Look, the left has a very interesting way, because they control the narrative, the media message. They have a very interesting way of saying, good Republicans. McCain was a good Republican. They were sinister. They were absolutely morally bereft when it came to attacking McCain. They went after John McCain. They did not care about his military heroism or service. They went after his service record. They went after him. They were nasty. They were unethical. They stopped at nothing to try to disparage him in 2007. The same people who were like, Trump. Oh, Trump. How dare he? How dare he? They were even more cruel than Trump ever was. Go and you can look back. My point is that the media, and you see it with Lindsey Graham here and there, you see it with Trey Gowdy sometimes. The media has a way of saying, hey, you know what, just hate on Trump and we'll accept you. You'll be the Joe Scarborough of conservatives. If you're a reformed conservative and you tell us how the orange monster is horrible, and you embrace the woman who called black youth super predators who must be brought to heel and who lack empathy, which is Hillary Clinton, then we'll forgive you for your indiscretion, for your misdeeds, for your sins. We'll forgive you. This is very likely what took place with Miss Westerhout. So Trump cuts the cord from another White House leaker. It's said that one of the comments recently attributed to Trump regarding hurricanes could have been an attempt at just outing a leaker. Who knows? The interesting thing here is that when people leave the Trump administration, the media makes such a big deal about it. But it's actually better for Trump. President Trump deals with sycophants. He deals with people who always want to embrace his behind. And he deals with people who are enamored with what Trump brings, namely media attention. They like the fact that he is so famous, powerful, that he attracts media. They like the fact that he's like the heel in the WWF. They like the fact that he has the ability to manipulate the media, President Trump. He actually plays their game better than they do. And so then you have people, whether it's Scaramucci or this potential leaker here, or people who have left who have then said, oh my God, I have a tape of him saying something and he never said, there's no tape. What they want is a quick buck, or they want access to fame and celebrity status. They want to utilize the benefits of being associated with Trump. Then they realize, okay, how do I transition to media in general? And then they leak information. But the thing is, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Because the media will never accept you again if you worked with Trump. Ever. They're never going to truly accept you. They're never going to view you as one of them. And you don't want to be one of them. I'm happy that people at The Nation, or people at other progressive publications, or people at other, I'm happy the Daily Beast wrote a hit piece on me. I'm happy because it shows that I'm on the right side of history. It shows that I brought up the fact that Bernie Sanders was cheated, and the fact that President Trump is a good president. I'm happy. I don't want to be associated with people who think that Trump worked with Russia, and then when that whole thing falls apart, then they say obstruction of justice. So number one, there was no evidence to believe that Trump worked with Russia. They set up and framed him based on a dossier purchased by Clinton. Number two, there was no obstruction of justice, and William Barr didn't deceive the country because Mueller actually stated, even in his testimony, he didn't even know who Fusion GPS and Glenn Simpson were, the two most important names in this whole thing. But there was no collusion. There was no obstruction. They create and fabricate misdeeds, criminal acts, and then they say, well, it's all relative. Comey mishandled classified intelligence, deliberately leaked information to start a special counsel, saving democracy, and then they relish, they jump up and down. He didn't leak classified intelligence, yay! Well, number one, the whole planet hacked Clinton's servers. Why would Russia hack the DNC? Which, by the way, the U.S. intelligence community is not certain. They're only confident. They're not certain. They've never independently verified because they've never looked at DNC servers. They're relying on CrowdStrike, and CrowdStrike was outsourced by the Democratic Party. The conflicts of interest, which is why McCabe, in terms of conflicts of interest, he's the poster child. McCabe was not only a person who was highly conflicted, but his wife received hundreds of thousands of dollars. He lied to cover his tracks. He should have recused himself. He did not recuse himself. He did not recuse himself. So, it's like, look, you have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where you have a White House leaker leaves the administration. It's actually better for Trump. And very likely people around the White House know that they can't leak, or they should think twice about leaking information because they'll lose their job and they'll be exposed for who they are. You're talking about a New York Times that published an article, ladies and gentlemen, from an anonymous source that said, oh, I'm saving the country from Trump. These people have lost their minds. That's why check out H.A. Goodman's other channel below. These people have absolutely lost their minds. They've absolutely lost their minds. And it's like, don't trust message boards. And then it's like, okay, you could say what you like about me, but at least I go with the public record. And it's like, it's just some certain people are like very annoying, like, oh, you promised indictments. It's like, oh my God. Relax. Andrew McCabe is imminently going to get indicted. People will change their tune in 2 seconds. So the roof's going to cave in. It's happening. It's finally happening. Then you'll hear, this is hilarious, then you'll hear Trust Q. It's just a mess. Look, you can't go from believing a message board to then saying nothing will ever happen, to then when McCabe gets indicted saying, yes, the roof's going to cave in, trust whatever forum it's on now, Reddit, whatever. Okay, and it's just, I find it very interesting, like, do you want people to talk about the corruption and use public record? Or do you want, like, how about I start my segments like this? Ladies and gentlemen, nothing ever good is going to happen. The Democrats are going to win with corruption every time. No matter what happens, no matter what they do, they'll never ever get indicted, ever. They committed crimes, just get over it. If it was you, if it was a Republican, there would be justice. But if it's Democrats, they're untouchable. Ladies and gentlemen, they are untouchable. You have no chance at any semblance of a democracy or a republic. The Constitution has been shredded apart. And ladies and gentlemen, from here on out until eternity, you will never, ever see any justice. People will fabricate Trump-Russia probes. They'll create a new Cold War, and you'll never, ever get any, not even an iota, an inkling of justice or normality. Have a nice day. My Patreon is below. Is that what people want? I think not. So, Andrew McCabe is going to get indicted. Look on the bright side. A leaker was just exposed. Clinton is going to run again, and she's going to lose and take the Democratic Party and the entire corrupt establishment with her. They'll lose the election, ladies and gentlemen. And they're not going with Biden. They're certainly not going with Warren. And like I said in my last segment, Warren has too many skeletons in her closet, and Biden actually is a skeleton. A walking skeleton. So don't worry about that. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel below. Ladies and gentlemen, keep hope alive. I don't want to use, take a quote from... They fabricated and they set up Trump Russia. The media is still... they don't even make any sense. You have people who are like, William Barr didn't do anything wrong. He did nothing wrong. He repeated what Mueller stated. Mueller didn't have to exonerate anyone. There was no obstruction of justice. Because there was never a time when Mueller needed... Okay, Clinton gave servers wiped clean. She should never have even owned servers outside the United States government. When the FBI asked polite, can we have your server, please, please? She's like, oh yeah, here, wiped clean with a cloth. Bleach bit, here you go, losers. And that's obstruction of justice. Okay, that's obstruction of justice. Calling it a matter, that would be obstruction of justice. Okay, meeting with Bill Clinton to speak about golf, Brexit, and grandchildren, that's obstruction of justice. Don't worry about what the media says. Just focus on reality. See, if you become distraught, then then they win in terms of the mess, in terms of creating a new reality. Give me your thoughts below. Share this segment and check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right this second. Thank you so very, very much.